guys. Welcome back to Talk of Alabama. I'm with Shannon Riley. She's the CEO of One Stop Environmental. They clean up messes, like some of the messes that we have because of those storms. They're doing this all over the state of Alabama, but they've got some good advice for those of us who want to go in and volunteer and help out. Shannon, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Good to have you on the program. We appreciate it. You know, I was just telling you this little story about when Bruce and Tiffany and I went out to Pratt City, how everywhere we saw lying on the ground transformers and other kinds of things. They look harmless enough, but they can be real hazards.
That's true, they can. Thank you so much for having me here this morning.
Sure.
Thank you for the coverage y'all have given of the tornadoes and the recent storms, and for the efforts you and your team are making to go out and help volunteer and clean up. And that is what I want to talk about, is when you're out there in a volunteer manner helping your friends and family with this cleanup, there are some safety hazards that you may run into, and I wanted to make y'all aware of those.
Understood. We started with those transformers. If we can start with that, that's one. But what are the problems with those things?
Well, just the different materials that are inside of the transformers, and when they have fallen down, if they are an older transformer, they may have PCBs involved with them, and so that's just not something that you should deal with. If you come into contact with something that you're nervous about, just back away and leave it alone. But primarily when you come out there, you are going to be dealing with construction debris, so nails on the ground are going to be big, and wearing some good safety boots are great.
You know, Shannon, let me do this too. Well, okay, we'll go to the list in just a second. Okay. But yeah, hit us up on these boots. What kind of boots do you want to try to bring?
Well, the normal person's not going to have steel-toe boots like we have in the workforce, but if you do, that's great. But just some good hiking boots so that your ankles are protected and that you have a good sole underneath them, so that when you're walking around in construction debris, you don't puncture your foot. Right. There's a lot of heavy equipment coming in to help with this cleanup. So if you have a reflective vest that like you use maybe when you're out running early in the morning, right, wear that so that you can be easily seen by the heavy equipment. I brought along some respirators. Asbestos is something that we may come in contact because a lot of the houses may have asbestos shingle siding, right, or transite material on them. And this is just a HEPA filter that protects you from the small fibers of asbestos. Yeah. But a way that you can protect yourself is to wet down the materials that you're coming in contact with.
Let me ask you that, and great piece of advice. Let's say I'm going to go to one of the hardware stores and I'm going to get a mask. At the very least, or a filter like that, at the very least, what do I want to look for one of those?
You want to look for one that's got the highest HEPA filtration number on it, one that will protect you the most. But like I said, if you're on a site and you see something suspect, it's best to just back away.
Yes.
But if you keep it wet, the problem with asbestos is that it is a material that can come out into the air.
Yes.
So if you can wet it down so that no dust can fly. Good work gloves are good because you are dealing with lots of different wood material, nails, and then you may come into a site where you see things that have been pulled up to the street side and they're in bags or they're in boxes. Leave those items alone. Crews have come in.
So Shannon, if you're going to volunteer, you really kind of want to prepare yourself a day or two ahead of time.
Correct.
These are the kind of materials you want to bring with you if you're going to pick up garbage of any kind, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. Hey, let's do this too, because guys, we have that full screen, and I want to make sure that we hit all the materials that you might run into. You mentioned asbestos. There are different kinds of hazardous waste that you might run into. There's rusted appliances and corroding batteries, stuff you really don't want to touch if you can avoid it, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
So yes, if you can avoid that, and if you have items like that and you can get them to the curbside, then that's good, because then crews that are coming through can pick those up and get them out of there for you.
Shannon, you brought us some great information today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Getting ready to do some volunteer work? Get yourself ready first, and this is a good way to get started. We will take a break, and there's more Talk of Alabama coming up. Stick around.